Disney logo's gotten pretty goddamn full of itself.
I wish.
And in this village...
Narrator commits a couple of sins here, which we are duly going to count because f*** that guy. First off, and most importantly, he interrupts Anna Kendrick. Nobody puts baby in a corner, f*** face. Second off, narration in general, f*** face.
More than life, more than jewels.
A carefree young lad.
Isn't it nice that Cinderella properly stops her song so that an invisible narrator can continue his stupid shit? Also, I'm not sure I can follow everything with this back and forth. This plot narration sing-along is too complex.
I wish to go to the festival. Wish you gave us some milk or even cheese.
Well, if the cow gives you some milk, then you can get the cheese. The cow can't just straight up give you cheese. What kind of a wish is that? You might as well wish for $1 million while you're at it.
You wish to go to the festival?
This is why it's a bad idea to sing your dreams out loud, especially if you're an indentured servant orphan girl whose host family hates her guts.
The festival? The King's Festival?
Actors are playing for the back row, which is odd considering we're in a movie theater right now.
And then there was a hungry little girl who always wore a red cape.
Probably a superhero. Probably will be in the next Avengers movie. And let's be honest, Into the Woods is sort of an Avengers for fairy tales, so no one will be able to tell the difference.
It's not for me, it's for my granny in the woods.
Song intended to excuse shoplifting. Even in the live-action version, Cinderella needs birds to help her take care of her shit.
Sift through the ashes into the pot.
Bird slavery.
While her withers wither with her.
Someone got paid to feel clever for writing this line.
Sometimes I wonder what's going on in that head of yours.
But then my abusive nature takes over and I stop giving a shit.
Into the woods, it's time to go.
Roll credits, and gladly.
But into the woods,
Okay!
into the woods,
I know!
into the woods to go.
Goddamn girl, we already rolled your credits. You can stop saying it.
Fly birds back to the sky.
If only you could use that beautiful singing voice to get them to peck your stepmother and stepsister's eyes out. Seems reasonable. Who's going to convict you for that? Well, yes, Your Honor, Cinderella has the power to make birds murder people. Prosecution rests. Even if you hate someone with all your being, how is this that funny? Oh man, they dragged Meryl Streep into this, didn't they?
What she wanted more than anything in the world was greens, greens, nothing but greens.
Salad-loving girl completely derails fairy tale story via salad-loving.
He was robbing me, raping me.
Robbing is right. The other thing, probably not. But maybe this movie is way darker than I previously thought.
I had a brother.
No, but you had a sister. She's mine now. And you'll never find her.
Well, considering I just learned about her, how broken up can you expect me to be?
She would punish me with the curse of ugliness if I ever lost any of them.
Which plays the pronoun game so that the baker's wife has to ask what the hell them means.
The special beans. I let him go. I didn't know he'd stolen my beans.
Witch's mother put a curse on her looks, tied to magic beans that don't do anything but grow in a garden outside. Somehow, if they get stolen, that curse still kicks in. There's no gray area in the world of stupid magical curses.
Into the woods to sell the cow.
This movie has roll credits itself about a dozen times, and we're literally not even to the 12-minute mark.
1, the cow as white as milk. 2, the cape as red as blood.
Well, isn't it amazing that in all the stories we've been following so far, those exact things are going to be in the woods when the baker and his wife go there? What if the witch decided to tell them about this curse tomorrow? Did she know all this was happening? If she can predict the future, then surely she'll also know that she's going to die at the end of this movie.
Look what I found. Here, take this.
You mean you found a coat that is not your husband's, but just happens to be his dad's? And it has the magical beans in it? I don't know where to begin. Does your husband not usually have his own coat? Is it missing? Amazing you found a coat that figures into the plot of this movie.
Now, remind me, what am I to return with?
Yeah, those items were not nearly specific enough to remember. A white cow, a red cape, a slipper Pierre's gold, and yellow hair. You definitely should have written this grocery list of common items down.
I still wish to go to the festival.
Yes, we know. We've been hearing you complain about it for 14 minutes. Also, why are you running toward a closing gate right now? It's not like if you get past the gate, you can suddenly go to the festival.
Into the woods.
Where?
Into the woods to visit mother.
Damn, everything known to man is in these woods. I bet there's even a Home Depot in these woods. No wonder the witch believes so strongly you can get all these extremely specific items there.
Into the woods, into the woods.
42% of this movie is the words into the woods.
Deep within the woods.
Sudden returning narration. And why does this movie, where 80% of the information is doled out in expositional songs, even bother with a fucking narrator?
Cinderella had planted a branch at the grave of her mother, and she visited there so often and wept so much that her tears watered it until it had become a magnificent tree.
What?
Do you know what you wish?
Yeah, I wish I didn't have to live with my cruel stepmother and stepsisters anymore, and why have you never given me this wish option until now? Once again, nature magic gets to dress Anna Kendrick, and I'm left holding two dresses up in the air. Hello, Anna. I'm standing right here. I can only take a few hundred more rejections before this gets sad.
Suddenly found herself in a very unusual part of the wood.
You mean there's no white cows, pure as gold slippers, or hair as yellow as corn just lying around? Is that Johnny Goddamn Depp?
And where might your grandmother live?
Who cares? Why don't you go ahead and eat her now?
Look at that flesh, pink and plump. Hello, little girl.
Pedophilia song. Also, during the Into the Woods sing-along, I imagine they needed to do background checks on all the audience members before starting the show. Johnny Depp's temptation song to this little girl is way too f***ing sexual. It's like watching Jack Nicholson meet Haley Steinfeld.
When you're talking to your meal.
So she can't hear him right now? F***ing musicals.
For Granny.
I'm still not quite certain why the wolf hasn't eaten Little Red Riding Hood yet. There are no witnesses. This is the perfect scenario. Dark woods, defenseless meal, so go for it already. Why the f*** is she here? Does she need to micromanage the Baker's RPG quest? Or is it just because the movie needed an excuse to give Meryl Streep more scenes?
Get me what I need! Get me what I need!
Unnecessary orders, but nice exit. This little girl is way too at ease with all these random people showing up in the otherwise deserted forest. Damn, this movie has really got a subtext problem. 7 seconds of sustained screaming.
I'm never gonna find that red cape.
You definitely found the red cape. You just realized what a horrible person you were for trying to steal it. Baker's wife finds her husband in the middle of the f***ing woods with no problem whatsoever.
I want to help.
I want to press stop on this stupid movie.
A cow as white as milk.
How big are these woods anyway? Like an acre?
What might you be doing with a cow in the middle of the forest?
I was going to ask you the same question until I saw your wife was Emily Blunt. Nice work, old chap.
I was heading towards market.
Which obviously requires walking through the woods to get to. Yeah, I know the story of Jack and the Beanstalk. Yeah, I know this is basically the story of how he comes into possession of some magic means. But seriously? He actually believes this shit? Oh man, they dragged Tangled into this, didn't they?
But little did she know that the girl's lilting voice had caught the attention of a handsome prince.
These are facts that all of us, even the 3-year-olds in the audience, already figured out by watching the movie. Also, what is a handsome prince doing riding around in the woods anyway? Surely if this was a normal thing for him to do, he would have stumbled on Rapunzel way earlier than this. This looks painful as f***.
Rapunzel.
I really would like to see if the handsome prince would try and save Rapunzel if she wasn't a hot runway model.
She was surprised to see the door standing open.
Even though she exhibited no surprise at all upon seeing the wolf and the baker in the woods.
How uneasy I feel. Perhaps it's all the sweets.
This movie simply doesn't trust the imaginations or intelligence of children. We're force-fed every action and feeling through narration, dialogue, and singing. It's just like that time I was kicked out of my first college orgy. By the way, why does a human female live in a tree? Is this a transitional period in time where most people live in houses, but a small segment of the population still prefer the homes of our distant evolutionary ancestors? And how does this tree not die after hollowing it out and ripping out the ground underneath? Candles in a literal treehouse? That's a fire hazard. Little girl should now immediately know that this isn't her grandmother. Obvious wolf granny is obvious wolf.
Grandmother, you're looking very strange.
This Red Riding Hood fairy tale has always relied on the Red Riding Hood to be a f***ing moron.
What big ears you have.
His ears aren't even visible in this shot.
Better to hear you with, my dear.
Well, at least Into the Woods' Little Red Riding Hood figured this out way before her written counterpart did. Even if I believe the wolf actually swallowed 2 humans whole, am I going to believe for an instant that the baker could free them with a random stab to the wolf's stomach? He could have and should have easily killed one of the victims with that blind stab. Excuse me, my brain left my head for a second.
Wait!
Neither Red Riding Hood nor her grandmother are covered in icky wolf digestive matter.
I should have known better. Mother said straight ahead.
Yeah, but couldn't you tell me that without singing it?
And he showed me things, many beautiful things that I hadn't thought to explore.
He showed you some pretty flowers, and that's about it. I guess that's enough to count as many beautiful things in whatever year this is.
When he said, come in with that sickening grin.
Previously on Into the Woods, Wolf's throat is exactly like the Harry Potter tents, with way more room inside than they seem to have on the outside. Also, the lining of the wolf's stomach is made with 1,000 thread count Egyptian cotton sheets. So it's not that bad, really. This is a flashback to something that happened literally 90 seconds ago, and we had already figured it out on our own. As bullshit as it is. Damn, we just went through a lot so she could finally hand him that cape. I mean, the singing, not the wolf attack.
What sort of boy exchanges a cow for beans?
The kind that's clearly too young, but that you sent out to sell the cow anyway, presumably due to laziness? Angry Mom throws beans, which hit the ground with a flash of magic, but Angry Mom doesn't see it, naturally.
To bed without supper for you!
Isn't that like all the time, though? Is that really a punishment? This movie assumes you entered the theater winking.
The prince danced only with her.
this narrator keeps showing up after long absences, where on-screen characters provide plenty of exposition. Plus, we don't want to give away the surprise of the new Cinderella movie we have coming out in 3 months that will surely be completely different from the 100 other adaptations before it. Anna Kendrick is frightened and running down the stairs, and I am unable to help due to some freaking technicality of a restraining order. If the prince knew where Cinderella was running, and it could really only be one place, why did he bother running up this hill? Why didn't he send some of his men out to the one exit this castle has so that they could follow her? Baker's wife took no time finding her husband during the daytime, but is still stuck in the woods around midnight because it's time for Cinderella to crash into the plot.
Tell me, the prince, what was he like?
He's a very nice prince.
Well, I'm glad that information could come by way of song. Certainly makes it more impactful than me.
Well, he's tall.
We're talking about Chris Pine now, right?
As pure as gold.
I think it would have been awesome if the baker's wife had run into a person that totally did not have an item she needed. And then she could have sang something like, well, that was pointless. Sometimes a person in the woods is just a person in the woods, I guess.
Mr. Baker! Mr. Baker!
How the f*** does Jack even know where the baker is? So when Jack saw this beanstalk in the wee hours of the morning, he thought, I better climb this thing that goes so far up into the clouds. You never know if giants with gold might be up there.
A big, tall, terrible lady giant.
That's racist.
And she draws you close to a giant's breast.
Keeping with the theme of adults' relationships with kids in this movie. Also, Jack somehow woke up, saw a beanstalk, climbed it, had an adventure with a giant, stole some stuff, climbed back down and ran into the woods before his mom woke up.
But she did.
Yeah, but she might have done.
But she didn't.
But she might
But
have
she
done. Cares!
I was just about to say skip, and then the witch basically did it for me.
Been searching all night for her.
Ah, yes, I know exactly who you mean. Well, I'll just continue riding over here. See ya, sweet brother.
And I say, Rapunzel! Rapunzel, let down your hair to me.
Seriously, nearly everything that happens in this movie is told to us after it happens.
Why?
Chris Pine channels his inner Shatner because that's what Captain Kirk does to actors.
Agony beyond power of speech.
What the f*** am I watching right now?
You know nothing of madness.
Movie cautions viewer about the second hour before the first hour is even complete. Both of these princes are singing about women we barely get to see them meet or spend time with. And I understand, because who needs to see the story of Cinderella and Rapunzel again? That said, why do we even need to see these guys sing about them if the movie doesn't even care about their stories? Also, just a status check, this is a song where two dudes competitively compare emotional pain at not being with girls they're crushing on. Despite the fact that everything and everyone in the woods appears exactly when they need them, the baker's wife still hasn't found this freaking cow, because she suddenly needs to run into Rapunzel.
Is that you at this hour, my prince?
You did hear a female voice, right? That's, at the very least, the witch, which is what I would have guessed.
Yes.
This works.
The second night of the festival was thrown into chaos when Cinderella once again ran from the prince.
What the f*** is this movie doing to Cinderella? They've turned a noble girl scared of having her magic pumpkin secret revealed into the goddamn runaway bride. Jeez, with all this same exact stuff happening 2 nights in a row, Emily Blunt must have thought she was filming a weird sequel to Edge of Tomorrow.
The woods can be a dangerous place.
But I'm not going to help you. Yeah, I figured this movie needed to reboot back to its old ways. Hilarious stumbling upon the cow is hilarious. And on cue, the baker's wife shows up at the exact moment the baker found the cow. It's amazing the golden slipper hasn't fallen out of the sky yet.
More sure, more sharing.
Ah, I see. It's like a metaphor. The literal quest they have in front of them is so they can have a child. The quest itself is actually a metaphor for being ready to have a child. By the way, I f***ing hate metaphors in movies that bang you over the head with narration and singing about things that just happened. Tell you what, if I ever have to sing a song this long to get laid, then I choose masturbation.
As for Rapunzel's prince, he returned yet again.
Prince is able to climb Rapunzel's tower despite the massive Rapunzel hair theft last night. Oscar nomination song. Also, skip.
I need to see the giant's toy hop.
This story is basically all the unexciting things your favorite fairy tale characters did when they weren't doing their fairy tale stuff. Jack is a dick to the Anne the Beanstalk.
Beanstalk came crashing down,
Jack murders a giant for his golden coins, golden egg, and golden harp, and he's supposedly the good guy?
killing the giant.
Even though he was roughly 25 feet from the ground when the beanstalk fell, according to this shot, and that definitely shouldn't have killed a giant.
He spread pitch on the stairs, and I'm caught unawares. Well, it means that he cares.
Or it means he's kind of rapey. But it's a woman's prerogative to figure out what her barricades to freedom are in a relationship, not mine. Also, why did the world stop time while she sang this song?
But where everything's wrong.
Anna Kendrick says the phrase, everything's wrong, which is close enough to make her our honorary fairy godmother forever and ever, amen.
I'll just leave him a clue. For example, a shoe. And then see what he'll do.
The guy ordered Cinderella stopping tar on the stairs. Why do you still need proof that he wants you?
I need that shoe to have a child.
That makes no sense.
Movie decides at the halfway point to begin caring about what makes sense.
We must search immediately for the maiden who fits this slipper.
Just seeing her with my own eyes should do, especially since I've now seen her 3 nights instead of 1. And she's not wearing a mask. But sure, I'll keep up this fit the slipper bullshit, even though there would surely be at least one woman who has the same size feet as Cinderella. And did I mention I've seen her face 3 nights in a row? Prince takes off in pursuit of maiden that fits the slipper without even trying it on the girl he found carrying the slipper's mate.
Mounted the prince's horse, unaware of the blood dripping from the slipper.
Unaware of the blood dripping from the slipper? Prince continues to let maidens try on the slipper outside his field of view, because reasons.
Have you no other daughters?
Only a little stunted kitchen wench.
Why even bother mentioning her if you don't want Cinderella to even have a chance of winning? This slipper now has the blood of 2 evil stepsisters sloshing around in it, but I guess Cinderella's foot is so dirty, who cares about being unsanitary at this point?
I would recognize these beautiful eyes anywhere.
And the general Anna Kendrickness of her face, but sure, foot size and eyes never lie.
Cinderella's birds swooped down upon the stepsisters.
Hit birds.
As for Rapunzel, the witch had banished her to a swamp.
I kind of feel like you're just making all this shit up as you go at this point. Is this live? Rapunzel's banishment spot lines up perfectly with her blind boyfriend's desperate search. Because this movie is basically saying, magic forest, so anything goes, bitches. Disney magical love tears cliche.
Rapunzel.
What?
I can see you.
Also, well, I guess that takes care of the conflict I was worried about for 5 seconds.
I found you!
Why are you surprised? This forest is like really f***ing tiny.
This cow has been covered with flour!
Didn't get a real white cow.
How much more of this bullshit do I have to endure? God damn it. Jack's mother goes racing into the haunted woods to find him, and naturally does so immediately. Why did the story even bother killing the cow? It didn't matter to the plot one whit.
Well, you can use the Suki health for corn.
That's not technically the right ingredient, because the witch asks for hair as yellow as corn, not hair as yellow on corn. But hey, that's a frightful nitpick. I'm just stupefied that this is what's going to make this spell work. Baker's wife becomes pregnant without doing any of the fun stuff. Just remember, youth serum can be made by combining a golden slipper, a red cape, corn hair, and feeding it to a zombie cow, which produces youth milk. I know, I'm trying to figure out why that's not stupid too. But we're going to get through this. I think I just gave an unkeepable promise.
Everything's so different.
This is why you should have several non-woods routes to your home, just in case.
Why does he always cry when I hold him?
This is exactly what my college girlfriend said to me about my penis.
Here, would you like a blind girl instead?
I guess that's supposed to be funny, but then I'd have to deconstruct what makes a joke funny, and ironically, it wouldn't be funny anymore after that.
He sold his cow in exchange for some magic beans.
Yes, let's retell the story we all saw, then heard again, just for the sake of the giant alone, goddammit.
We mustn't let her get Jack.
We're not going to. It's okay. It's okay.
I promise.
Promise.
Unkeepable promises. Rapunzel snuck away from the castle to have a good cry in the tower in which she was once imprisoned. That makes sense. And it makes sense not only to the witch, but to her prince as well, who say to themselves, if I need to find Rapunzel right now, where's the most likely place she'd go? To the place where she was prisoner for 17 years. Poignant song about parenthood and children going off on their own, sung sincerely by evil witch, who locked her daughter in a tower and manipulated every single thing in her entire life. Yet again, main character runs into another main character in the woods. Is there such a thing as cameos or extras in this world?
We have a giant in our midst.
When the giant walked through this part of the wood, she watched her step and didn't destroy anything.
Anything can happen in the woods.
That was literally the entire pitch for this movie. Tacit adultery.
This is ridiculous. What am I doing here? I'm in the wrong story.
The baker's wife would be amazing at CinemaSins. Also, babe, it's worse than you think. There isn't even a story here in this place.
Foolishness can happen in the woods.
It almost exclusively happens. In fact, we're practically in a whole new movie now. I wish they'd find this bastard Jack and feed him to the giant already.
Life is often so unpleasant.
This guy is suddenly super pervy, bordering on rapey. What the f*** is going on?
478, 479, 480.
The baker definitely miscounted, since there are only 40 steps in any one direction in the woods before you're out of it. The sheer rate of times the characters run into each other bear that out. All the times they got lost? Stupidity.
You look like the princess, but dirty.
I'm also confused as to how long it's been since the giant first came down. It's like they're all living in the post-apocalypse years after the flood and water supply ran out. Jack should look like Mad Max by now. I really, truly think the earthquake happened an hour ago in movie time, though, right?
What was that?
The baker's wife would be Oh, we just said that. Carry on.
Was it wrong?
Yes.
Am I mad?
Yes.
Does he miss me? Was he suddenly getting bored with me?
You are happily married.
Have a child for warmth and a baker for bread and a prince for whatever.
This movie could have been pretty great if it wasn't rated PG. Make this R-rated, they could have explored a lot of themes and made this great. Instead, it's this.
Let the moment go.
Good God, we've spent a good 5 minutes on this out-of-nowhere Prince kisses the baker's wife moment. After all that bullshit, the f***ing baker's wife dies.
Look who I found.
Oh, and what a surprise. We didn't see this moment happen on film. Sure, we'll spend a nap time with the baker's wife and the prince, but something actually plot-related? Just tell me about it when it happens. They might as well just make an audiobook for people to pay for in theaters.
I'll let go of him when I give him to the giant.
Why did she even bother to drag Jack through here in the first place? Did she want to get stopped?
Were they worthless beans? Were they oversold?
Christ, Skip.
You pocketed the other bean.
I didn't. Yes, I did.
Good God. I mean, this is argue singing. It's singuing. It's about as bad and frustrating as it sounds.
So it's your fault.
Can't we all just agree that Jack is at fault here?
I'm leaving you my last curse.
I've never seen a movie so allergic to story in my life.
All right, mother. One. Lost the beans again.
This movie that made no sense is now making infinite negative sense. Well, I guess she's gone.
Maybe I shouldn't have stolen from the giants.
Maybe I shouldn't have strayed from the path.
Maybe I shouldn't have attended the ball.
Maybe Jack shouldn't have stolen from the giant.
You would leave your child.
We'll be happier in the arms of a princess.
The
What are you doing here,
Son.
Baker confronts Darth Vader on Dagobah, because this is one of the final tests before becoming a Jedi at leavening bread.
Good friends, we need your help now more than ever.
Yeah, we need you to call the Eagles in on this. Tell them to stop being such assholes and help us instead of Gandalf for a change.
The birds will do their part.
And that's all I have to say about that.
I shall always love the maiden who ran away.
And I, the faraway prince.
I mean, what the hell happened in this movie? It's like a whole section of story got cut. Yeah, sure, he tried to kiss Emily Blunt, and who wouldn't? But even before then, the prince and Cinderella was separated. So what the happened?
It's about your mother.
She didn't make it.
More great off-screen exposition for the movie. Also, are you telling me that when the steward pushed her, she actually died from that? And this is how Jack got revenge on the giant's wife after Jack stole from and killed her husband. Oh, wait.
Of course you can come and stay with me.
What with all that sweet, sweet baker's money I pull in, I can afford a sudden family of 5 in a village just torn apart by a giant.
Things will be all right now.
Hey, remember when this movie was a totally different movie?
This forest is old, very old.
Good day, young lady.
Good day, Mr. Wolf.
You sending the wolf? Negro, that's all you had to say.
All of the whole human race, Mrs. Lovett. There are 2 kinds of men and only 2. There's the one staying put in his proper place, and the one with his foot in the other one's face.
Just wonder when will my life begin.
This one got a princely racket. That's what I said now.
How do you do? My name's Gav Flush. These are my people. Here's my patch.